I'm Amy, and welcome to WOW Pride, sponsored by T-Mobile and our very own Baptist Health. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and certified mindfulness-informed clinician.
And I am a yoga teacher.
And between the both of us, we have a 10-minute meditation for you from the rooftop of Miami Beach's Baptist Health Medical Office Building, and then a 45-minute yoga session for Maurice Gibbs Park by Adrian.
Today's theme is empowerment, self-confidence, and grounding for the LGBTQ community, which is so important to offer not only individually, but for also as a minority in our community. What do you think?
Absolutely. So many times we're told who we're supposed to be or how we're supposed to act, and a lot of times those things aren't true. So it's important to have sessions like this where we can take care of ourselves.
Well, I have to go get ready and go to Maurice Gibbs Park and get ready for our class.
All right, get your running shoes on. See you soon. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started, but first I have a very special surprise for you today. We actually have our Baptist Health family with us. So we're going to get into the meditation. So you know everyone is 6 feet apart, socially distanced, and wearing masks. Let's get to it. All right, everyone, thank you again for being here. We'll get started. Let's first have a seat. And if you're at home with us, have a seat in whatever position is comfortable for you. Feet crossed, feet in front. And then go ahead and gently close your eyes. Place your hands in your lap, on your knees. Have patience with the wind. And we're going to take some deep breaths in and out. And on your next breath, I'd like for you to lengthen your spine and drop your shoulders. So breathe in, lengthen. Breathe out, drop those shoulders. Fantastic. And just bring your breath back to a normal, comfortable place. We're going to turn from our attention from our bodies to our minds. And we're going to talk about your inner strength. We are all strong, in one form or another. Sometimes we have misconceptions about strength. So let's dispel ourselves right now. Strength is not the absence of fear or doubt. Rather, it's working through and moving forward when we have those feelings. It is persevering. It is humble, steadfast, and yielding at times. So let's take a few moments and reflect on a recent situation where you cultivated strength. What did it feel like in your body? What did it feel like in your mind? And know that at any moment you can conjure up this memory and use it for those situations where you may have doubt, where you may be concerned. We're also going to visualize an image, an object, a person, a token, something that empowers you. Images in our mind help us, and they embody what empowerment can be or is. Maybe it's a person you look up to. Maybe it's a token or a gift someone has given you. It could be an image of something in nature. Bring that image to the forefront of your mind. I personally like to use the image of a mountain. It's tall, strong, survived thousands of years through winter storms. But it can be any image that works for you. Hold that image, embrace it. See if you can bring that empowerment into your body, uniting it as one. This moment to have gratitude for this image. Gratitude that it can be there at any moment, your beck and call, to give you that extra support, that extra push, the empowerment we should all feel. And turn yourself back from your mind to your body. Taking those breaths in and out again. Lengthening that spine one last time. Breathing out and dropping the shoulders. Feeling strength in your posture, in your whole body. And then opening your eyes. All right. I hope you're feeling ready. I hope you're feeling strong, because we're about to check in. I think I hear that Adrian made it over there. Is that right? All right, handing it off to Adrian.
Thank you, Amy, for that wonderful meditation. And I'm so grateful to be here, part of W.O.W Pride Weekend of Wellness, sponsored by T-Mobile.
we're going to start by doing a few sun salutations, coming to the very front edge of your mat. At the front edge of your mat, your feet could be together or slightly apart. As you look forward on the inhale, take the arms overhead, big lift, reaching up. And exhale to hinge at the hips, fall forward, bending the knees as you slide the hands down to the front of your legs. Inhale to lengthen the spine, a halfway lift. Exhale to walk your feet back to our first downward facing dog. In our first downward facing dog, you can bend one knee at a time, move your neck around, and do any movement that feels good. But also be aware of the hands. Check the hands, the palms are open, you're sealing through the fingers, fingertips, and knuckles. Now from your downward dog, raise the heels high and step the right foot forward in between the hands. If the foot gets stuck somewhere in between, grab your right ankle with your right hand and help yourself to bring the right foot all the way forward. We can also make a fist with the left hand, take the right arm up, open your chest away from the floor. You can look down sideways, you can look up at your right thumb. Give yourself one more deep breath, and on the exhalation, release your right hand down, step it back to your downward facing dog. You can add more movement, less movement in downward dog, and it's perfectly fine to bend the knees if you're feeling any tension on your lower back. From your downward dog, raise your heels high, step the left foot forward this time. Same applies on this side. You can grab your left ankle and help yourself to bring the foot as close as it gets to the front edge of the mat. You can make a fist on the left hand, you can turn to the left hand down, sending the left foot back into a downward facing dog position. Now, as you're exploring downward dog, release your head down as much as you can, so you're kind of framing your head in between your arms. If you see my head slightly lifted, it's because I'm using a microphone, but you can lower and release your head to a point that the back of the neck feels soft. Now from your downward dog, walk the feet towards the front edge of your mat. At the front edge of your mat, lengthen the spine, halfway lift, inhaling, exhale, fall forward. Take it all the way up to the top, arms overhead, palms might press or they stay apart, that's your choice. Exhale, arms by your side. Let's do one second time, just one last time. Inhale, arms overhead, big lift, reaching and opening, extending. Exhale all the way down, forward fold. We can bend the knees as much as we need to. On an inhale, lengthen the spine, a halfway lift. On the exhalation, make a plank. This time, we make a plank, top of a push-up. You can release your knees down, and we can do a half chaturanga, lowering the body halfway down. Use the inhale to roll the shoulders back into upward dog or cobra. Your chest opens. And exhale to sit back on your heels and use that as a transition into downward dog. A final time from here, step your right foot forward in between your hands as you free your right arm up. Inhaling, you can follow the right thumb all the way up to the top. Exhaling, step your right foot back into downward dog. And if I'm moving too fast, slow it down. We repeat the same movement but on the left side. So step your left foot forward, and as soon as your left foot steps, reach your left arm up on an inhale. And exhale to release your left hand down, sending the left foot back into downward dog. Now in downward dog, check the hands, that the hands are in alignment, your feet are in alignment, the highest point are your sitting bones. And from a downward facing dog, raise your heels high, soften the knees, and either walk, step, or lightly jump to the top of the mat. At the top of the mat, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold over your legs, and let's take it all the way up to the top. Arms overhead, big lift, reaching, opening. Exhale, release your arms by your side. Now, from here, at the front edge of your mat, with your hands on the hips and the gaze forward, take a long step to your right. And just for a moment, let's have our 10 toes pointing in the same direction. With our 10 toes pointing in the same direction, what I would like you to do is to open with your right toes to the right. Extend the arms apart from the body, away from the body, creating a long line from right hand to left hand. And on the exhalation, lengthen forward and over the right leg. So the right hand is going to come down the right leg, left arm is going to extend up into the sky. An alternative, an adaptation could be your left hand on the left hip. Many of us might feel comfortable looking down. Some of us might want to look sideways. Now, the interesting thing about this posture is the alignment. Some people prefer to connect the heel to the back heel. The heel might intersect the back inner arch. So I'm going to stay in this posture. I'm turning my chest open. And one of the common places where we could feel this posture is the inside of the right leg, the hamstring, even the back of the leg. So wherever you are, give yourself one more full breath, and then slowly to come out of the posture, bend the front knee and lift it up and extend through the arms, straighten that front leg, close your right toes, and let's do exactly the same posture over the left side. So open with the left toes, keep closing through the right toes, extending through both of your arms, and wait for the exhalation to lengthen forward and lengthen down. So same as before, you might keep the left hand down. Many of us might prefer to look down. Many of us will like the idea of looking sideways or even looking up. Now, if I'm taking care of my shoulder, I can always bring the right hand to the right hip. If I'm taking care of the bottom leg, or if this posture feels a little too much, I can always bend the left knee. Important thing to remember is that we're turning the abdomen, we're turning the torso, we're always taking deep breaths. So ultimately the practice is meditation in motion. If it feels like you're kind of sagging into the posture, use the strength of your abdomen to keep your heart slightly higher than your hips. I'm going to take one more deep breath right here. The way that I'm coming out of the posture is by bending the front knee slightly and pressing back up to standing, straighten the arms, and come back to what's going to be our neutral position now. Toes pointing forward, take a moment, hands on the hips, roll the shoulders back. So here we're moving into our second standing posture, grounding, connecting to the floor. Our second standing posture is going to be Warrior Two on the right side. So roll the right toes out, bend the right knee, and this could be a flexion, could be close to a 90-degree angle. You're going to feel it on the inner thighs, you're going to feel it on the groins, but at the same time extend the arms. It's a powerful pose. The traditional shape of the pose, you look over the fingertips of the right hand. So kind of feeling strong, feeling grounded, feeling powerful just by being on the pose. You might start to feel the heat building up on the legs. And on top of that, I want you to squeeze your thighs, to lift through your abdomen and extend that energy like if you're pushing against wall through the hands. We're gonna go ahead and take one more deep breath. This is Warrior Two. You could challenge yourself by bending the front knee even more. And then on the next inhale, let's come back, straighten the leg, hands to hips, take a break, open to the left side. So let's see how Warrior Two feels over the left leg. And it's okay if you feel that now you can go wider. Your body's always changing. Extend the arms, open your chest, make a choice. You can look forward, you can look over the fingertips, you can look in the same direction that you're facing. What we're doing now is opening the hips, engaging through the abdomen, lengthening through the spine. But there's more. As you squeeze the fingers together, you're engaging through your triceps, you're engaging your back muscles, you're lifting your heart higher. Now I'm bending the front knee forward, I'm rolling the left knee out, I'm feeling even the left buttocks engaging right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take one more deep breath, perhaps bending the front knee slightly more forward. And on the next inhale to release, I straighten the left leg, hands to hips, and I roll the left toes in. So I'm back to neutral. You can shorten the stance. Now I'm feeling the power on the legs. I'm feeling that connection to the floor. Toes are pointing forward, legs are engaged. Once again, I'm gonna open a third time to the right side. I'm moving into Warrior Two. It's gonna feel much easier because you've been doing this for a few times. You're bending the right knee, not only forward, but you're bending the right knee forward and right. So the next posture that we're exploring from a Warrior Two is lowering the right forearm into the right thigh as we circle the top arm alongside the ear. The most common places to feel these postures is going to be the side of your body. It's a side stretch. For some of you, this could be a place to stay. An adaptation could be your left hand on the left hip. An adaptation could be lowering and holding your right ankle with the right hand. So as you can see, you're still bending the right knee like we did at the beginning in Warrior Two. You're still rolling your chest open. Perfectly fine to look down, spreading through the toes. And if you like a more detailed work, engage the legs by hugging the legs from front to back. So this is extended side angle. We're lengthening the whole left side of the body. Feel free to reach the left arm, even if it's for a moment or two. Sometimes we even look at the palm of the left hand. I'm gonna give myself a deep breath, and before coming out of the posture, I'm gonna look down. How about keeping those Warrior Two, those strong Warrior Two legs, as you come up to Warrior Two, perhaps you bend the knee forward, and on the next inhale, straighten to come out of the pose, and then come back to that resting position. It is actually not a resting position because you are engaging your legs. You're feeling the strength coming from the floor. You can always reposition yourself. So if I look down at my toes are in line. So we have to do Warrior Two on the left side. So roll with the left toes, bend with the left knee, get to the point that you feel the hips extending, Feel the abdomen lifting you up and energy extending out of the arms. Call it energy, call it strength, but it's a grounding. It's an empowerment through the arms. Rolling the shoulders back, lifting your chest open, bending the front knee. Strengthen and straighten the back leg and lean the left forearm lightly into the left thigh. Remember, extended side angle might happen by reaching the right arm alongside the ear. This might be the posture all the time. We can simplify the posture by bringing the right hand to the hip. And if you look down at your left foot, your second toe is pointing forward. We could also lower the left hand and grab the ankle with the left hand. Now I'm turning my abdomen to the sky. I'm turning my chest open, and I feel supported. I feel grounded by pushing down through the right foot. So my whole body is lengthening. And yes, I'm bending the front knee forward close to a 90-degree angle. I'm gonna give myself one more deep breath, and on the last exhalation, I'm gonna turn my abdomen, my chest. It almost feels that I'm leaning back. Good. Now, how do we get out of the posture? I will look down. I will keep that flexion of the knee. I will keep those strong warrior two legs open in your warrior two pose. And from your warrior two pose, straighten out of the left leg, close your left toes, and you're back to that starting and neutral position. You can rest your hands at any moment by bringing your hands to the hips. Okay, so there's one more standing posture that I would like to do. We're gonna keep following the same pattern of movement, all right? This is gonna be a balancing posture, which is super, super important for centering and connection to the earth. So I'm gonna roll with the right toes are pointing out. I'm bending the right knee, 90-degree angle, a little less, a little more. I'm opening through the arms. Now for this one, I'm gonna look forward over the right hand. Left hand is gonna come to the left hip, and I'm reaching my torso forward and down. So many of us, for this particular pose, we might find it helpful to shorten the stance, let's say about a foot or two. What I'm gonna do is to aim to lower the right hand towards the floor as I'm lifting the back foot. For some of us, like me right now, we're gonna be looking down. We're not necessarily touching the floor, you're just simply balancing the weight of your body on the right foot while you're extending the back leg and your heart forward. Of course, we can always touch down. And if you touch down, that might give you more stability. Some of you might like to look sideways. Today for me, right here where am I want to look down, and then I don't want to fall into the water. But I'm leaning back. You get the idea, right? Notice how I'm intentionally bending the right knee. I'm lifting the back leg a little higher. I'm spreading every single toe on the back foot. I'm rolling my left shoulder back. And then very slowly, as I soften the right knee to lean back, I come back to my warrior two. Now this warrior two, I know I'm gonna feel it on the right leg because I just was supporting my entire weight in a balancing posture. By the way, the name of that posture is half moon. So you're in warrior two on the right side. Use your next inhale to straighten out of the front leg. Close your right toes. You have your 10 toes pointing forward. You know this one. We've been doing from the beginning of the practice. But now what I want you to do is to put your hands in your back pockets and press your hips forward and open your chest to the sky. So we can add a little bit of a back bend feeling and chest opener. So come out of that back bend, open over the left side, back into your warrior two. And in warrior two, open arms. So although you're doing these postures over and over, keep working on the strengthening element of it, on the grounding element of it. So out of your warrior two position, bring your right hand to the right hip, lengthen your torso all the way forward. And remember, the second toe is pointing forward. And like I did on the first side, I feel the need for my body at this moment to shorten the stance. So always listen to what your body's telling you. Now, I can feel all the weight being distributed over the bottom foot, the left foot. And because I'm practicing outdoors, I usually look down. Now, as I'm looking down, I can choose to release the hand to the floor. That might be an option, and I just lost balance, which is fine. It's another chance that we have to try it again. I have my right hand on the hip. I'm extending the leg in the air, but I'm being gentle with the bottom leg. And maybe gentle is not the right way. The bottom leg is working really hard just to support us. Now we're lifting the back foot, we're toning through our buttocks, we're turning the abdomen, and guess what? You're also rolling your shoulders down your back. Face is soft, relaxed, we're connecting. It's definitely a different type of meditation, but yet we can take a deep breath. Everyone slowly comes back to your warrior two. And again, this warrior two, you might feel a lot of energy in the front leg, but yet open it, expand it, take a deep breath once you're in the pose, and out of your warrior two, straighten through the left leg, close your left toes, and just to get that feeling of openness in the front of the body, I'm gonna give you two options. The option of putting your hands in your back pockets, or the option of interlacing fingers behind your back, opening your chest. I leave it up to you if you want to press the hips forward or not. I know many of us are taking care of our lower back, so if you don't want to push the hips forward, you don't have to. If you don't want to look up, or if you prefer not to look up, that's perfectly fine. But do open your chest, expand your lungs, take a deep breath, and feel your feet. That stability that we're talking about, that grounding feeling always comes from the ground up. Now, if you have your hands behind you like me, bring your hands to your hips, and use your hands to hinge at the pelvis and slide your hands down the legs. Maybe a third of the way, maybe halfway down. Now, for some of us, we might bend the knees intentionally to release some of the pulling feeling, if that's what we're feeling, if you're feeling too much of a stretch. Now, I'm actually gonna reposition myself. I'm gonna move slightly back, but I can either stand on my fingertips and look forward, slightly forward, or I can have the palms flat, or I can even let go of the body as I hinge forward and I melt down towards the earth. Each of us is gonna have a different approach. So for those of you who are looking to relax at this moment, this is the perfect place to be. Others of you might like to move, which is the second option that I'm showing you now. I can walk my hands to the right foot, I might roll into the ball of the right foot, and I might spin into the ball of the left foot. So there's always different options. Moving, it could be a dynamic meditation, could be more of a traditional meditation. We can always meet right at the center, okay? So I'm gonna give you a few moments for you to explore. And if you come up with your own version, even better, all right? Be playful with the postures. I'm gonna take one more deep breath on each side. And then let's come back to that neutral position where our 10 toes are pointing forward. Our 10 toes are pointing forward. We are lengthening the spine. It's okay to bend the knees. I want to do one more thing from here. The left hand is going to stay on the mat or the floor directly under the heart, and the right hand is going to come to the right hip. You're turning your torso, your chest, your heart to face the right side. Now imagine your hips being in line with the top of your head. Feel free to reach your right arm up. That could be an alternative. You might even like to look up. Now firm through your legs, fire up through your quads, and turn from your waist. On the next exhalation, release your right hand down, or replace your left hand for your right hand, and either bring your left hand to the left hip, or even extending the left arm up. There are options, and sometimes both sides are the same, or depending on the circumstances, we might try something different. So I'm gonna take one more deep breath here, and on the exhalation, release your left hand down. And the way that we're gonna come out of this posture is by bringing the feet in, heel to your feet, soften through the knees, release the crown of your head, and begin the process of rolling up, all the way up to standing. Because when we talk about grounding and being connected to the earth, there's nothing more powerful than doing balancing postures, single-legged balancing postures. So how about this? How about you keeping your left foot on the floor and rolling into the other right foot? We're gonna do tree pose, but there's gonna be plenty of options. So a good place to start is always with the right toes pointing out. We're gonna call this option 1 or adaptation 1. For many of you, you might like the idea of rolling or sliding the foot through the inside of the left inner leg. Many of us will like the idea of holding the right ankle and lifting the right ankle towards the inner left thigh. That might be another alternative. And listen, if you lose balance, it's okay. It's part of the practice. Now, think about it. The only part of your body that's connecting you to the earth is your foot. But your point of focus, whatever you're looking at, it also will help you to stabilize the pose. Thinking about Warrior 2 that we did so many times, the extension of the arms might help you to balance. That could be your posture today. You can always come back to any of the previous postures. You can always find connection through different shapes on your arms. If it feels that by bringing your hands to the heart, to the center, you feel more connected to the midline, please do that. And remember, balancing postures, they're always more challenging when we're doing them outdoors. So give yourself some credit, even if you feel shaky, all right? If you're still there with me, take one more inhale to get length from the center of the left heel all the way up to the top of your head, and then prepare to release the posture, but slowly, gradually release your right foot down, and probably the left leg needs to be shaken a little bit. So shake your left leg, you were just putting all the way there. We're gonna go ahead and switch sides. So even before you start to build your posture, how the weight feels on the right foot. How about option one? And in option one, you're putting like 95% of the weight on the right foot, maybe 5% on the left foot. Perhaps squeeze the foot into the ankle or into the shin, or begin to lift the foot higher. You can go as high all the way up towards the right inner thigh. That might be the posture. Many of us will prefer to keep the hands and hips. How about those warrior two arms that we did earlier, right? Whether palms face down or face up. It is a balancing posture, yes it is. It is a hip opener, yes. So there's a lot of things happening. You can open your chest, you can engage your abdomen, even your glutes. So talk about strengthening and grounding, it's happening all right here. And yes, you might lose balance, you might try it again. Remember the position of your arms. No matter the distractions in the background, there's always distractions whenever you want to feel distractions. But there's always a calm center, a quiet center, all right? So see if you can find that quiet center no matter what, no matter the sounds, no matter the thoughts, no matter the feelings. So if I have to focus on one simple thing here, I'm going to push down to the center of the right heel. I'm going to grow taller about an inch to the top of my head. Everyone, big breath in. And instead of releasing the posture too quickly, do it slowly, almost as if it's still a part of the meditation. It moves slowly. Now shake the right leg. So that's one of the balancing postures that I wanted to try today. So here comes another one. And this next one, it's a great one to open the hips. Anyone with lower back pain, anyone with sciatica, piriformis, if any of those words resonates, this is good for you, all right? So I'm gonna be standing on the left foot, left toes are pointing forward, shoulders on my back, and I'm gonna cross the right ankle over the left thigh. I'm gonna give you the option of putting your hands on the right shin as you start to bend the left knee. On this one, I'm not looking forward. On this one, I'm actually looking to a point on the floor. On this one, at any moment that I feel comfortable, I could replace the hands for the elbows. Now let me tell you something about this posture. I'm already feeling a lot of stretching and lengthening out of the right thigh, so I don't want to make it too complicated. This could be the stretch that frees your lower back. It is, of course, a balancing posture. It is a great strengthener. But the goal of the posture is not to touch down, it's not to fold the body in half, but to create space in a part of the body that sometimes get congested, all right? And you see me coming out of the posture because I almost lose balance. But I'm coming again. I'm gonna take one more deep breath here. Feel free to get creative. I know some of you might like to hug yourself into the leg, open arms, or even interlace fingers behind your back, so we get a little bit of everything, chest, heart, hips. On the next inhale, I'm gonna press back up to standing and release and shake it off. And if I ask you to just to move your awareness or feel your body, probably the right hip, the one that you just worked on, it feels a little bit lighter than the left one, okay? Just check it out. It might make a difference or not. And it's all about repetition. So let's go ahead and try the second side. Right foot is gonna be your source of strength, the grounding energy. Sometimes we call it the mother nurturing kind of leg. And then the left leg is gonna travel here. So you're gonna cross the left ankle over the right thigh, like a figure four, think about that. And then start to bend the right knee a little bit, a couple of inches. Remember, less is more in yoga and everything. Try to rest your hands on the leg that's closest to you. That's your left leg. You can flex your left foot. Look at a point that's closer on the ground, outside of your mat. Roll the shoulders back. And then once you start to feel the stretch, make a conscious decision. Am I feeling the stretch right here? Do I want it to go lower? Do I want to replace the hands for the elbows? And also, if I haven't done these type of stretches in a long time, take it easy today. And today use it as a way of lengthening, not necessarily going to a maximum capacity of stretch. Am I taking deep breaths? Yes. For the most part, all the time in the practice,
I want to be connected to that energy that is my breath. Remember, one side might feel more open than the other. It might be easier to take deeper breaths in one side than the other. Also, the second side, you have the memory of the first side, so that helps you to perhaps feel more centered. I'm going to take one more breath just to lengthen my spine. And then through the bottom foot, I'm going to start to press all the way up to standing, and then release and shake it off. Maybe walk around your mat. Shake the legs, shake the arms. Notice what's going on the body, any changes, any difference. What I would like us to do, now that we did a lot of standing postures, I would like to go back to our sun salutations. That was our first warm-up, and do a sun salutation to see if there's any difference in the way the body moves. And probably you might notice a difference than from the beginning of the class. So come to the very front edge of your mat, arms are by your side. With your inhale, reach the arms overhead all the way up to the very top, and exhale to fall forward. Remember, you can bend the knees to touch down. And I already feel a lot of space on the back of my legs. Hopefully you feel the same. On a long inhale, lengthen the spine, a halfway lift, and with the exhalation, step it back to a final downward facing dog position. When you get to downward facing dog, bend one knee at a time, move your neck around. I hope it feels easier to lift the hips, to open your chest. This could be such a great opportunity for you to take a deep breath in, open the mouth, sigh it out, flutter your lips, stick the tongue out. Remember, the practice is great for stress reduction, not only for flexibility, not only for strength. And then from wherever you are, slowly come to a seated position. And from a seated position, I'm going to invite you to cross your legs, press fold your left leg, and then fold the right leg in front. So as you're crossing your legs, make yourself comfortable so you can feel your sit bones there, and with your hands hold the knees. We're going to do what we call Sufi Circles. It's a great way to lengthen our spine. So about 5 times, circle the body from left to right. 1, 2, stay connected to the practice, stay connected to the sound of your breath. 3, 4. We're going to do one more Sufi circle in a clockwise direction. 5. And the next time that you come to the upright position of the spine, go ahead and reverse the direction of those circles. 5, 4. Notice if it makes a difference going in one direction or the other. 3, 2. Let's do it one more time. 1. And the next time that you come back to the upright position of your spine, switch the crossing of your legs. And this time we're going to switch the crossing of your legs so we can access the sides of the body. So walk the right hand as far out as you can to the right. Lengthen the left arm alongside the ear so you feel the whole left side of your body opening and extending. An adaptation could be your hand on the hip. An adaptation could be looking up. I'm going to take one more deep breath. The chest is open. And then slowly I'm going to come back and I'm going to try exactly the same thing over the left side. So I walk the left hand away from the body. Right hand can stay on the hip the whole time. Or right arm can reach and I can lengthen. I can look under the armpit. I take a deep breath. And then I come back. So there you have it. You did it in both sides. You feel pretty even. But you could also take this movement into a flow. Reach into one side, reach into the other. So if you're looking for something more dynamic, this could be another alternative. Here's another option. You might come down to the forearm. So guess what part of the body you're working on as well? Your core, more specifically your obliques. So this is a good exercise that is also open in the hips. I'm going to do it 2 more times on each side before I move into another posture which is also core related. So the next time that you come back to the upright position, take a deep breath, center yourself. Remember, the movement is meditation. And you might have done the next posture before. The next posture is called Navasana, bow pose. And like all the postures that we've been doing today, there's many different interpretations of the pose. The one that I find the most supportive, and I do quite often, is to hold the back of my thighs with my hands,
rock back into my sitting bones, stance on the tips of my toes. I can look forward and I can raise my feet, perhaps the same height as my knees. Even though I'm holding into the back of my thighs, this posture is activating my core. I am balancing in the pose. So let's call this one option 1. But option 1 or option 2, option 3 is better than option 2. They're different in interpretations of the movement. So I'm lifting my chest. This is option 1. Option 2, I might free the arms and roll the palms to face up. Option 3, I might straighten the legs as I lift the heart. And there's so many options, so pick one of these that works for you. Now, once again, if I like the idea of doing more movement and I want to make it more active because I feel that I would like to explore that, there's something that we call Arda Navasana, which is a transition from this high boat or upper boat into a lower version where you lower halfway down. So if you like to go there, please go ahead and do it, and then come back using a little bit of momentum and come back to boat pose. We're going to do it 2 more times. It's totally optional. It's okay to hold one or the other. Inhaling to come down, exhaling to come back up, and I'm going to do it 1 more time. I'm really starting to feel my core. If it's okay with you, just to have a little more challenge, the next time that you lower, is it okay to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can bend the knees if it helps. Rock yourself forward and come back. All right, so that's a lot of core. Hopefully you felt that on the core. Let's move ahead into a series of postures that will open the hips. So if your focus for yoga or your intention for yoga is to learn to develop more flexibility, this is one of those great postures. And you might have seen that before, or you might have tried this before. When we do this in the yoga class, we usually pull our chest forward. Today I want you to think different about this pose. I want you to lean into your right forearm and with your left hand kind of press down into the left knee. With your left hand kind of press down into the left thigh, and with your left hand kind of press close to the hip. And do that a few times. It's almost like if you're giving a massage. And more than a massage, you're pressing the leg down, you're creating flexibility on the hip. And if you do it on one side, do it on the other. So you lean to the left and you're pressing the right hand down, right thigh down, right inner thigh down, and you do that a few times. And the reason why I like to do that so much, first of all, it brings an element from massage, even from Thai massage, and then I kind of feel more ready to go into that forward fold. And obviously for me, hip openers are not that easy, but I love to explore them as well. So you see me holding my toes, interlacing my fingers around the toes, and every time that I'm inhaling, I'm lengthening the spine and my chest pulls forward. Every time that I'm exhaling, I'm rolling my shoulders back. I can tuck the chin under. If it feels that it's too much, in general, you can rock side to side, you can move the hips a bit, but nothing too complicated, all right? So go ahead and give yourself 1 more deep breath to lengthen the spine forward. Let your heart to lead the way. That's what we're trying to do. And on the exhalation, you can use your arms to hinge forward at the hips and then slowly roll it back up. Okay, so if this posture, it feels like it's a really good posture for you, I invite you to do it again. So that could be your option 1. Your option 2, and let me be mindful here because I'm kind of in a tight space, but option 2 is what we call Upavishta Konasana. Option 2, you can extend your legs. Option 2, you can extend the legs, and sometimes I use my hands to find the right alignment. It's important that if you're doing option 2, it doesn't feel like an overwhelming stretch on the legs, like if you're going to pull something or if you're going to an edge that is uncomfortable. Find a place where you can be aware of the sensations. The sensations are not intense. Remember, less is always more. And we can be in tune with our breath. In fact, imagine that this becomes your meditation posture. And you might take a couple of deep breaths just right here where you are. There's no need to do anything else. There's no need to go any deeper. This could be the posture. This could be the shape today. So I'm going to take 1 more deep breath from the base to the top. and exhaling from top to the bottom. And I can stay for a few more breaths with the hands in front of me, or even hands behind me. It can provide a lot of support. So option one, either hands behind or hands in front. You also have the alternative, which I like to do many times, which is doing Sufi circles like we did earlier in our cross-legged position. So doing circles in one way, 3, 2, 1. Doing circles the other way, 3, 2, 1. So all these movements are helping us for our backs and creating space in our inner groins. Now, if it's okay to stay in the posture a bit longer, how do you feel about resting the right forearm on the thigh and lengthening the left arm alongside the ear? So now you're getting a side body stretch. And I love the postures that are very generous, like this one. You're doing a hip opener, you're getting a side stretch, and then you can come back and you can lean the left forearm on the left thigh and reach your right arm. Again, we're doing a hip opener every second of the way, but also side body stretch. Then you can come back slowly back to center, back to neutral, and with the hands in front of you. How about this? How about using your hands, and with your hands, frame your right knee and walk the hands in the direction of your right foot. I'm not asking you to wrap around your foot or anything like that. Just walk the hands as close as you feel comfortable to the right foot. Things that help me in this pose is to turn my abdomen to the right, is to extend the heart forward. Sometimes I look at the toes, sometimes I look down at the knee, and always taking deep breaths. It is a twist. I'm turning from left to right, so my heart is extending forward to the right foot. I'm taking one more deep breath right here. Then very slowly I'm going to come back to my hands. And before, when we started the mountain pose, remember when you were standing at the front edge of your mat, I was asking you to push down through your feet. Now you're not using your feet. What you're using instead are your sitting bones. So through your sitting bones, press down and lengthen to the top of the head, such as you did earlier in the practice. Let's frame the left knee with the hands and walk the hands down the left leg wherever they go. Turn your abdomen to the left. You might feel a difference between one side and the other. I'm not so interested in folding forward, but I'm more interested in lengthening the spine. So if you see a lot of rounding, or if you feel a lot of rounding on your spine, lengthen the spine some more, even if that implies to lift your chest higher. I'm going to take one more deep breath to pull my chest forward. And then very slowly, I'm going to walk my hands closer to me. And a final time in this position, Upavishta Konasana, I take a deep breath, I sit nice and tall. Now the way I like to release the posture is by using my hands to bring one leg to the midline and then the other, or simply go ahead and extend the legs to whatever the front edge of your mat is. And as you extend the arms forward, go ahead and begin to roll down one bone at a time, all the way down to the point that you are on your back. If you like to bring your hands behind your head, you can do that for a moment. It probably feels nice to be on your back after standing for this long. I'm bending my knees, and the reason why I'm bending the knees is to support my back, but also so you can do windshield wipers. You can roll your knees to one side and then the other. So options of having the arms out, stretched away from the body like a T shape, or hands behind your head, like you see me doing on my left arm. But pretty much what I want you to feel is that you're rolling and massaging, and more than that, you're kind of compressing in a gentle way, or massaging might be a better word, your glutes, your buttocks, areas of tension. So the next time that you come back to neutral, I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left thigh, and with my right hand I'm going to press the right knee away from me, just to create some space on the hip flexors. Then I'm going to go ahead and switch sides, left ankle over the right thigh, and the left hand is going to press to create space on the hip flexor. Soften the expressions on your face, your lips, your mouth. And then as a final posture before our resting pose, give yourself a hug, give yourself a squeeze. Feel free to curl the head, neck, and shoulders off the mat, or just hug yourself wherever you are. For the last few moments of relaxation, you could bring the soles of your feet together like I'm demonstrating now. We call this Supta Baddha Konasana. It's a mild hip opener. This is an option. Another option could be the knees together or close to each other and the feet apart. This neutralizes your lower back. Or another alternative could be extending the legs fully and lying on your back with your hands either on your hips or abdomen or just arms by your side. Remember that our yoga practice is a form of meditation, that we integrate into the practice everything in our surroundings, such as sounds, senses, movement. And we're always in that process of connecting within ourselves. And one of the anchors of the practice is our breath. That's what keeps us connected. So allowing the breath to move in and out. But not only that, but also following the breath as it moves in and out. Your eyes might be open, your eyes might be closed, but the breath is passing by, and you can feel every single sensation associated with your breath. One thing that you might find helpful is to notice in what part of your body you can feel your breath the most. For some of us, might be our nose, our chest, our abdomen. And I invite you to take your deepest breath. Feel free to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. If you like to stretch, a big morning stretch, or hug your knees, I'm sure you have a favorite stretch that you like to do, or turning or twisting. And from wherever you are, bend the knees, roll to one side, and find the easiest way for you to come to a seated position. And go ahead and sit in any way that feels comfortable, whether you're crossing your legs, whether you're folding your legs, whether you're sitting on a mat or a little bit of a cushion. And rest the hands on the knees or thighs, lengthen the spine from the base to the crown. There might be sounds in the distance, acknowledge them, but also connect to the sound of your own breath. Allow the breath to move in and out. Notice the grounding effects of the practice. Notice the parts of the body that are connecting you to the earth. Notice how your inhale can help you to uplift, to lift up your chest, to open the heart center. And then it is from that place, that quiet place within ourselves, that we simply bring the hands to the heart, our hands in prayer, to honor the practice that we share, the space that we hold, as we honor the divine presence within ourselves. Thank you so much for sharing this practice. Namaste. And thank you for being part of WOW Pride Weekend of Wellness, sponsored by T-Mobile. Thank you, everyone.
you.